Hello, 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 and greetings, adventurers of Vera. Welcome to Tavern Talk at the Golden Feather Tavern. We are Virtek and Chibi, keepers of this fine establishment. The Golden Feather Tavern is open to all travelers to come and share their thoughts on the inner workings of Vera over a nice tankard of ale, mead, hot chocolate, or any other delicious beverage of choice. Raise a glass, pull up a chair as we delve into tonight's discussion. Today is the 28th of February 2024, and this is episode 008, Quests and Pirates. Chibi, how are you today, and what do we have on tap?
Wait, hold on.
Oh, holding on. Oh no!
Wait, I feel like I should go on the other side.
I don't have one in here. I forgot to grab one. Hold on. All right, that's gonna have to do. I think. No, that's not, because that's really heavy.
I'm doing pretty good, and today we're gonna talk about a few different variations of quests. Do we like quests? What is our favorite quest line? Which is a question posed to us by our subscriber Hydromancer this last week. And finally, pirates are.
I love that very strong R.
R.
It was very statement making.
That's okay. I almost R. Hello, Raka. I almost called today Yo Ho a quest life for me.
A quest in life for me.
So yeah, but that's what we have to talk about. And our conversations here on Tavern Talk are open to those of you in the community that we have had on before. So if you were interested in jumping in and chit-chatting with us on any of the topics that we're talking about, feel free to let us know which part you would like to join us in. I have a hair in my face now because I put the... and we'll pull you in to chit-chat about that. But aside from that, those of you that are new or we haven't quite been able to get to know in a voice chat kind of, I guess, environment, feel free to tell us what your thoughts are in the chat. As always, we're very interactive in this, especially we're super interactive with our chat.
Yes.
Sometimes when we have a guest on, we get we're listening to what the guest is saying. We don't get to everything that you guys say, but I do read it, and sometimes purposefully don't read it.
every once in a while, every once in a while.
Specific quests, specific comments. I won't read out. You'll know if you've been here. Still waiting at Toonlock for Falco.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah, I feel you, because I don't read certain quests either. Just saying.
We'll get to that in a second. But if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to our YouTube. Give us a follow, a like, and if you want to know when we go live, hit that notification bell or when we post. And one of the things we'll be working on here soon with our newfound... I have no idea what you're talking about, Chibi. With our newfound freedom is getting more of the podcast kind of squared away. We're going to go back to more of an IRL look for our Tuesday streams, which is what we usually did up until about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, something like that. When we swapped over to the VTubers, my and Pyre, his back, and we're gonna kind of go back. We've listened to your feedback. We're gonna go back to IRL stuff a little bit more and save that for more in-game representation things. Just as like a sneak peek for those of you who follow us on YouTube on what the changes might be. So I like it this way. It just might do sense. Yeah, honestly, a lot of people have given us that. Hello, Nuclear. Welcome in. It's a Nuki.
Yeah, that seems to be common feedback. A lot of folks
and that's fine.
Yeah, they dig the VTubers, but they like the more personal us faces.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it was one of those things that we were just trying out, seeing how it worked. I thought that the idea was cool, and I think it still is cool, but maybe in certain instances and not for like everything. So I will say one perk of being a VTuber is if I'm sick and I don't sound sick, but I look sick, you don't know. Or I can like mute myself and you won't see me like coughing up a lung in the corner. But no, honestly, we love hearing your feedback. We value your feedback. So thank you for giving us that.
Because all that time that we spent practicing with those and playing around with those are gonna pay off in the future with future plans that we have anyway.
Exactly. Demons, hello. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome in. Of course. So first things first. Our topic last week. Is that a Z? That's a Z. And she's equally excited about there being humans.
Apparently. Well, welcome in. Is that all it took to get you back in here?
We're just going back to IRL. I see how it is. It's okay.
Well, if the decision wasn't clear before, it is now. We must have a Z here, therefore.
Z is officially like the reasoning. But last week I asked how important are quests to you, and we know that tomorrow's live stream, I believe it's tomorrow, it's the 28th. Yes, tomorrow's the last day of February. There's a leap year this year. We know that tomorrow's live stream is going to be on commissions, and we wanted to know if people tend to skip quests, auto-complete them, or read them for the storylines. We have a few responses. Do you want to tackle the Twitter post, or do you want to tackle the Discord comments on it? And here's the Twitter post for those of you that might want to just look at it.
Oh, Z.
Wait.
Gonna propose? Yoinks. I mean, gonna propose? Oh, lordy.
And yes, I know you're married.
What are we gonna do with you, Z? What are we gonna do with you?
I mean, we still haven't gotten married in Ashes yet. That's still something that has to happen.
Still a thing. We didn't know you at the time.
Well, also to be fair, it was the pandemic, and we just did it at the courthouse, to be honest.
And yeah, Galwood's got it right. It doesn't count until it's in Vera. That's when it's official.
Exactly. That's when we can invite everybody, and nobody has to fly anywhere. There's no expensive venue. There's just a lot of time sunk into the game.
Yep. No, the cheapest travel you could imagine.
Yep, exactly.
A $15 sub and anybody can be there.
Pian says skip on the quest. Just kind of skip through the quest. That's what I'll use for Alpha 2 to read the quest. Then I can ignore them with extreme prejudice when it launches. I mean, I have some thoughts on that one. I hard disagree. We'll get into that in a second. But did you want to take reading the Twitter post, or did you want to take?
Yeah, let's do the Twitter post, I guess.
Go for it. I'll pull up the word then.
Okay. All right, so we got Jack Dandy that says, I think it depends on the quest for me. I tend to read it for story the first time I do a quest, but then rush if I play again. Or if it's just a fetch quest, I tend to just skip through it. And Veil Mistwarden says, questing in Ashes will be different than players are used to. People will need to know where to look for commission types as they move through the world. But it's not a monthly live stream worthy main topic in IMO.
In my opinion.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So questing will be different in Ashes for a bunch of different reasons, different than people are used to. For one, there's going to be the fact that some of them are going to be reactive to the world. The items that might change with that are going to end up being some of those commissions. There's also going to be some quests that just may not exist because that node didn't level up to a certain position, a certain level, and there's not certain things happening in the world, therefore the quest just never was created at all. And then even I believe there was something that they're gonna have to do with the main quest line, even like the core story of the game, and the fact that nodes are going to be different. If they always have, say, the quote unquote lead character that you see all the time in all of the main story quests, one day or on one server, rather, they could end up being on a tier 6 metropolis standing in the middle of a market, or on the stairs to a palace or whatever there for the mayor. And on another server, they could be standing in a grass field if they're at the same exact node. So they're going to need to probably do something like picking a region or something and finding the closest one to that node, maybe like the closest at least stage 5 node next to the one that they want them to appear on. So they're going to have to do, people are going to have to do a lot of searching around and really, now thinking about it, that's going to be some complicated questing code. Because they're going to have to update the quest before that and probably after that to have some kind of reference to where the quest giver was, or the next quest point was, and oh man. Oof.
All right, so before I get into Discord, some of the things people have said in chat here. Nuclear says depends, some are nice. Raka says you should make it the server first marriage, going back to our marriage conversation.
That's what we're trying to do.
I wish, yes. Hidden Dagger says you read them and I'll be waiting in my freehold at level 50. I was like, I intend to enjoy my leveling. And then Hidden Dagger says that's fair, no matter what I say I will do, it always ends up being the same high power level. Nuclear says I'll probably end up grinding really hard, but I take my time with some, and that's fair. Raka says I'm not much of a quest reader myself, depends on if I'm going to be if it's going to be walls of information text or just conversations. Hidden Dagger says, now that being said, Alpha 1 quests were very different than most games. Many had different mechanics you had to do. Exactly, yeah. Those different mechanics should be stream worthy in my opinion. And I think so too. And that's the other thing I was going to add is, for one, for those of you that have Alpha 2 access, do not expect the text for the quest to be your final stuff. This is going to be a lot of placeholder. There's probably going to be some that are going to be actual text of what the quest is going to have, but a lot of it, like a lot of the narrative and like the big chunky probably even commission stuff, anything to do with the storyline, is going to be omitted. So you're not going to get that probably until betas, if not launch. So that's, it's going to be a lot of lore-ism, because I believe that's what Alpha 1 was, except for the few that had the mechanics that you needed to read, like don't pick too many flowers.
Yeah,
so I think in that case, it's going to be worth reading to me.
Yeah, because I think originally Steven, and don't quote me on this because I forget, maybe I'm just inserting something into a random live stream from years ago, but I think early on Steven was saying that he wanted to keep all of the lore questing and whatnot, like not even in the game until beta, like late beta. Like almost till the launch, and then as much as possible until actual launch. But at some point, I think he said, and I've come to the realization that that's going to be kind of an issue. Because it all needs tested too, so I'm curious how Alpha 2 is going to pan out, like how much of it's going to be just placeholder.
That's a good point. Nuclear says I tend to start reading them all, and if they are interesting, I continue to read, but most of the time I get an hour in and just skip. Nomad says, I expect commissions to be a large part of Alpha 2 questing. And I expect that as well. But that's the other thing is, like, I am big into lore. And so the reason why I got so into things like World of Warcraft and the storyline for it initially was because I would sit there and I would read the quest. And there's a lot of subtext on what's going on. There's a lot of context of what's happening in an area in some of the quest lines. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So hi, Alluring. Wow.
Hello, Alluring.
How's it going?
Welcome on
would
in.
Be tough. Would be tough redoing the whole Carfin story. Yeah, but my gosh, we have some people I haven't seen in a long time in here. I'm so happy.
It's been a minute.
On Discord, Chaffee says depends on the format. Rewards suck. I'm finding a more optimal path. Go around the map doing the same 3 skinned quests repeatedly, but it's the fastest way to level. I'm running through it quickly, slamming my skip key. Have the quests matter with branching choices that could change the game's outcome, but not feel like I'm slogging through the mud. I'll be more interested, but I'm probably moving as quickly as possible for my freehold chance. If you have a system waiting for you at the end of an MMO where you need a max level, this is always going to be an issue. And I think that's a good point. Don't make me macho. I'm just listening to you guys while I make some dinner. Ooh, nice. Aw. Mod fight.
Bad egg.
But I mean that's a really good point too, right? Is like you have this system, the freehold system, that is dependent on being max level. And so you're going to have people like Virtek, for example, pushing through to get to max level quickly as possible to get their hands on the first freehold. For me, I think I'm going to take a little bit of a slower approach, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to be that hardcore with it because I want to be able to enjoy my leveling. Like, this is a new game. This is not a secondary alt or anything like that. This is a new game, and I'm going to want to sit down and truly enjoy it for what it is, you know? And that's not saying that you guys aren't. I'm just saying I want to enjoy the environment. I want to take it all in. I usually only do fast runs on secondary characters, third characters. This is the first of 50 get to. Wow, that's a bold question.
Le Gaspa. It's gonna be a duel in the town square.
Yeah, Gold, I agree. Gold says, I think tomorrow will be Intrepid showcasing their design ideas on making quests interesting as opposed to dailies or static leveling guides from other MMOs.
Yeah, and you know what, Gold, that's actually a good point, and one of the reasons why I'm kind of interested in seeing how it goes, because I agree with what a lot of people have said, that missions alone doesn't feel like a full monthly stream kind of topic. But if they're going to be showing off how they're different from normal questing and whatnot, and it ends up actually having something unique or interesting about it, then it might dramatically increase how interested I am in that stream, like midway through.
And I'm over here like, I'm just interested in the whole thing because I want to know what these commissions are all about. It sounds interesting. We have no information on it, so I'm already just curious in general. I'm just a curious person.
But yeah, like Hidden Dagger said, I'm going to be one that's trying to race to 50 mainly because of the freehold thing. But that being said, I'm going to try in the alphas and the betas while I'm testing out the classes and I'm testing out the content here and there. I'm going to be trying to absorb as much of it as I can.
Yeah.
That way, when it comes time to go into launch, maybe I'll be able to zip through most of it. But if I bump into something new, I'm going to have to read it. Because I don't know. I'm that guy when questing and whatnot, where I want to know all the things and I want to do all the stuff. So if I don't, then I feel robbed and I need to go back and make a whole new character to do it again. So I can catch that one quest that I already finished and I forgot to actually read properly because I was in a rush.
This makes a new question for me then, based off what you just said. Do you think by making it where you have to hit level 50 to get a freehold, it's going to promote having an alt so that people can enjoy the game for what it is after securing their freehold and their primary character? And Z, have a good night. Thank you for stopping in.
Rest well, Z. Miss you.
Yes. Miss you much. Bye.
So, one more time, phrase it one more time just so I absorb it correctly.
Do you think with Intrepid having the freehold system where you have to be max level to get a freehold, people will race their first character to 50, but then it will promote getting a secondary character so that they can slowly enjoy the leveling process on at least one character now that they've secured their freehold on the max level character?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't think it will,
Maybe
mainly
the
just
lore
because
peoples.
if it's going to take 255 estimated hours based on the rough ballpark that Steven gave out for questing time,
Yeah.
that's a long time. It's a long time to actually be questing.
Yeah, true. Grim, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Grim says, "Oh, that's going to be super rough for you because the quest you did before likely won't be there."
Yeah, there's that too.
So I don't know. Then do I make another character to have a whole other experience because now the node is different from my first character? Like,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Only people like me will do that because I like having alts and I like having the variety there. And I say like, but I really mean need, because I just have to have it there. Because if I only have one character, I end up not replaying the game at all. I mean, obviously, because I don't have, an alt. But
right.
my interest dwindles because I'm going to be bored one day because I just don't feel like playing that class or whatever. I don't really feel like having that game experience. And I'm going to be like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I have a level 3 something else, but it took me 10 hours to get to level 3. And I have 47 more levels to go. I've already done a bunch of quests, so hopefully there's enough different, and I'm going to hit a stretch where it's going to be the same quest, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't want to do that today. Same stuff I've already done. And then after a while, me saying I need to play a different character is going to become, I'm just not going to play today. And then I'm not going to play the next day, and then I'm not going to play the next day.
Hidden says, I plan to have an alt, but not for a while because Peon will be my dirtbag rogue. I'll need someone with good reputation. This is where the alt comes in. And that's fair. Galwood says, I'm curious about the level difference too. If my Riverlands Kalar blacksmith has a bandit killing quest, what level quest is it? Nothing skill, so how does that work? And that's a good question, right? Like, how does that work, right? I'm really interested in seeing that. And I meant to hit welcome in, Grim, by the way. Thank you for the follow. Going back to Discord, Mad Hatter says, I agree. When quests are just repeated storylines, just fetching an item or talking to so-and-so, it doesn't make me feel compelled to read the dialogue, which is fair to a point. I think it's like, what do you want to get out of it, right? So for somebody like me, or maybe even Loreforce, we're looking for those nuances. We're looking for the hidden meanings in those conversations. For people that are like more, I'm super into combat, I'm super into pushing and fighting bosses, or like getting better gear, you're not going to care about that as much. And that's a good point. Just look at a D&D table.
I'll be right back. I'm still listening though.
Okay. Just look at a D&D table, right? Where there's your combat people, there's your puzzle solving people, there's your person that loves to like talk to the NPC and be the diplomacy character, so everybody gets something different from games. Mad Hatter continues to say, when a quest has its own unique dialogue with a specific story and type of quest, then I'll try to read it, especially if I have to pay attention to what the NPC says about some lore info. But my brain may just be thinking that this is slow and want to get straight into combat or something, which is kind of what I was just hinting at. Grim Liberty says my Nico and Pope will be too busy to let me be bored. Hidden Dagger N says, if they had a voice acting, I would pay attention more to the lore, but it's not worth the cost to development in my mind to implement that because I'm too lazy to read. The app really is Terabad. App? What app? What app is Terabad? I think probably you mean the Twitch app.
The Twitch app. And thank you for using a word that I thought only I use. Terabad. I love it.
Yeah, he likes to use those. Finally, Sir Unsington says, I enjoy quests and storylines. Typically, I'm compelled to crush through the content for the sake of progression to get to a competitive edge. Would be nice to see some balance that allows for competitive play without sacrificing content along the way. I'm the problem in this scenario, though. I recognize that. But I think, that speaks volumes to the way that Intrepid is going to be establishing ashes, right? We have these node systems that's going to take hours to days to weeks to level up a level 6 metropolis. And in that time period, everybody is going to be playing. And I wonder, I mean, that's a big part of commissions, right? So you can go and level yourself. You're going to have your own quest to go do. But then you have these commission quests that not only level you, but also the node. So you're getting some quests that are just leveling you and some quests that are also leveling the node. Hello. Hi,
Hey there,
bub.
Kai Bub.
Welcome in.
Yeah, welcome in. Or I suppose welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah. But what I kind of wanted to touch on what Alluring Secrets said there with liking to take it slow and enjoying the story too. Depends on how the leveling experience actually ends up being. Freehold thing, the freehold thing, that's going to be a big player with my leveling speed and if I read, skip, etc. But the point she makes is freehold thing is something I care about. How long will it take for a node to reach level 3? Is rushing viable if ideal freehold locations aren't up for grabs yet? Now, ideal freehold locations when it comes to questing and waiting for nodes and whatnot, that's going to be very subjective, because if you have an ideal location, it may not ever come to fruition. I think it's one of those, like, you gotta see if you like one that you feel really strongly about, that you like. I would just jump on it, even if it's not quote unquote my ideal. If I like it, I'm gonna jump on it because I can always sell it later, right? They're gonna be limited, and I can always make some money, build it up, do things, wait till it's sold out in that area, and sell it off or whatever. Hopefully made money on it if nobody wants to buy it. But, we'll see. And Hidden Dagger Inn says, on a 4 to 6 hour average and 45 days to level, how long are you planning to take to level in days? As soon as possible. Between now and then, I'll probably be trying to bank days off and see if I can take like the first 2 weeks. Maybe not the first 2 weeks. Maybe like skip the first 3 or 4 days. And then take the next week and a half or 2 weeks off after that. Like after there's been some time to work out bugs and whatnot, because the head start thing is going to fix a lot of that too. With server bugs and congestion in starting areas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe there won't be too many at the beginning. We'll see. But I mean, 255 estimated hours. That's
you can only sell your freehold if you still have it later.
yeah. But yeah, 255 hours. That is only 10 and a half days. But that's 10 and a half days of actual, like, 24-hour a day farming. I do not intend to do 24-hour a day farming.
Yeah.
And like running through.
So Grim Liberty says, I'm hoping they decide 2 weeks on a season instead of just one, and time will show or me which is best. And then Raka's like, I thought just a few days. I think that was in regards to the village being a few weeks. And then Nomad asked, how much of an initial time gate do you think node leveling will be at launch? And they actually outlined this. I can go grab that link in just a second. But yes, it will be a few hours for it to go from Baron to like a small little camping level 1. And then many hours, so maybe like a day and a half to get to a level 2. And then a few days to get to level 3, etc. I'll go grab that, but yeah. Personal leveling. I don't know if there is a time gate on personal leveling, unless it's a time gated storyline, like what Genshin Impact.
Yeah, like only releasing a certain amount of story at a time.
Yeah. Go ahead and grab some more of these while I go grab that link. Sorry, I don't want it to be dead quick.
Grab more of. Ooh, I guess I gotta open it up here.
Chat, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What people are saying in chat.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, where did you leave off there? Time gating of personal leveling. I don't think there will be, because I mean, as Chibi said, unless they're planning on drip feeding us quests for the main story. The high level content will not be up I have a feeling that a lot of that will probably end up being built into the game and will not be able to be altered based on levels of nodes. Because think about it, if you had a main story quest open up because node number 73 finally hit stage 6 and built a bridge or whatever other little minor things are going to be required for an event to happen, and that finally opens a main story quest, and then somebody sieges it the week after, and it gets torn down, then suddenly the main story quest would not be available. I have a feeling all the main story quests are going to be independent of node states. Maybe including some subterranean stuff and some pre-built structures on land. Which may also be why they chose to decrease the number of nodes that were active and available for leveling on the map. Because it used to be, I think it was like 103 nodes or something like that, and now it's like 85. So all of those, in theory, could have been converted, or most of them anyway, could have been converted to just main story questing areas. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what the node levels are or node states are around it. They're always going to have a specific set of ruins, or they're always going to have a specific castle, or they're always going to have a specific cave, etc., etc. That's my take on it, though. So, like, the main story quest stuff will just be able to continue uninterrupted, unbothered by anything else going on. Unless a world boss passes by the front door and just stops you from going in for an hour.
Yeah. Let's see. Something. Hidden Dagger Inn says, I think leveling is too fast. I would like to see the time doubled. People will be 50 in 12.5 days. Raka is going to be right back. Grim Liberty says 1 or 2 months paid month to max level is smart. That gives most people an acceptable cost. As for 4+ hubs, likely going to be at least half IRL year. Hidden Dagger Inn says, I can't wait to see node wars happen between those and guild wars. I really don't think people will have to worry about corrupted people at that much. And Grim Liberty says, sorry, messed up my typing. It's all good. But yeah, I think there's, you know, the idea of your adventurer level, right? And I feel like, again, how quickly or slowly you level your adventuring level versus your artisanship level is kind of dependent on your gear, right? And the access to gear that you have. If you are hitting a roadblock where your gear is maybe not that high, you have this skill, but you're not surviving very well. You need bigger groups of people to survive an area. That might take you a little longer, especially with XP sharing. So you're going to need a larger amount of people to go out and push this content until you can get better gear and can do it by yourself. Like that's one thing. But apparently this is like old as of 20, well, actually not that old, 2023. Steven kind of had said that 50% of player power is gear influence on player power. So it's not going to be all skill. It's going to be have a heavy emphasis on your gear as well. But also from 2017, repetition will not be part of progression and Ashes of Creation. The game will host a wide variety of progression paths, and some of those paths will grant additional paths to augmenting your threat generation. Again, this is also from 2017, I want to say. It can be in the form of enchantments and stats, and even in the form of augments granted from societies and religions. And gear and skill choice are also a big component. So I don't feel like there's gonna be like one way to level, you know. I feel like there's a lot of options for leveling.
Yeah, and that's the good thing is you can level in kind of any way you want to. I have a feeling that the average player, probably a third of their leveling is going to come from PvP activities.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much of it in the game. Everything involves PvP, so.
Yeah.
playing other players and achieving accomplishments there is going to be a big thing.
Well, this takes me to the next topic, kind of related. It's from Hydromancer on our Discord. Hydromancer asks, what's an example of your favorite questline or dungeon in a previous MMORPG that you hope Ashes is as good as, if not better? If you have any favorite questline or a favorite dungeon. And I think, honestly, my favorite dungeon, going back to World of Warcraft, I don't know of any other ones that I haven't come across yet, but there's that one, I think it's the Wrath of the Lich King, and you can heal the dragon. Like, there's actually a thing where the healers have something to do as a mechanic. It's kind of like a heal bar, if you will. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. I hope they do something like that. But hey, welcome back, Raka.
You know, I tried to think really hard on this, Hydro. I really did. Like, favorite quest line or dungeon. And I don't think I have one standout quest line or dungeon, but I do have standout favorite types or features of them. And that's where I really get a kick out of quests that tie into the main story, but not in a big way. Like a quest, like say a side quest will be, I don't know, just helping a commoner around town, like doing things and whatnot, and you help them retrieve this whatever majig because they need to get it to their aunt because their aunt needs it really bad for some reason or another. And then during a main quest, like somebody will say something or make a reference to that side quest that you did. And that, I think, is really crafty and really interesting and amazing writing to factor that stuff in. That way people who go through and do a bunch of the side quests and do a lot of the miscellaneous jobs around and about here and there, they get a little bit more entertainment out of it. And it kind of ties it up. It makes the world feel big, but also more interconnected at the same time.
I can see that. And honestly, I feel like Ashes is gonna do a good job at like making the world feel big, but not too big. Grim says, I like that combat wasn't over in 75 seconds or less, even versus someone plus 20 to 25 levels, player NPC, 2 or 3 mobs versus geared out max level has a chance. And then I haven't played Dark Age of Camelot, but Hidden Dagger Inn says Darkness Falls is my favorite dungeon. I just don't know how they could incorporate that in Ashes unless it was opened by who held the most relics at the castles. And it was in Dark Age of Camelot, the faction who had the most keeps opened an awesome leveling and farming dungeon, and only they had access until someone took the keeps and got it back. Would be massive fighting inside when it changed factions. And I could see that actually as not only a way to incorporate PvE into the PvP side of things a little bit more, so it's not PvP heavy within Ashes. So maybe they might have, who knows, maybe something like that where you have to take it over. I feel like that alone is an example of PvP player driven content instead of just pure PvP for PvP's sake.
Yeah, that'd be something interesting. I think, I mean, it could end up being, yeah, see, I don't know, because it would have to be an objective people can fight over, right? To be able to access something like that. It'd have to be something you could go and achieve. So just saying, like, the guild that has the highest experience towards their node or something ends up unlocking it for that node. Well, then everybody else, all you got to do is go quest harder. Oh, it would be a very unclear thing, but yeah, I don't know, maybe more relics might be a decent one, but that wouldn't be something you could go and change in a day's time real quick.
Yeah. Grim says Dark Age of Camelot also had a good siege system with constant ebb and flow, so I think that's really important to kind of think of. Hidden Dagger Inn says, yeah, people wanted it in the relics because of the bonuses they gave your people.
Yeah, the relic's going to be a neat system to figure out and really see the kind of bonuses they're going to provide.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next topic we have, as this one is kind of doing, is our pirate topic. And this is from Pockets Art on the forums for Ashes. And I'm going to read this, and Virtek, you can go ahead and go first and give your thoughts. So in the past few months, Pockets was lucky to have been gifted Sea of Thieves and was able to play it for about a month until Skull and Bones launched. I have not played either of these. Pockets never got to experience things like Archage Naval, nor did he ever expect to enjoy any aspect of naval combat, even when it was mentioned to be in Ashes, until he played Sea of Thieves. While there are aspects of both these games that he enjoyed, his real hope is what good aspects Intrepid can take from those two naval games and what should be left to Davy Jones's locker. Also, as he has admittedly low amount of time and experience, please feel free to correct him or add your opinions. And so I've shared out the link for that. So if you wanna give your own 2 thoughts. Number 1, open seas PvP. One difference between the two, and Ashes has already decidedly said that they will do right, is the open seas PvP. One of the most disappointing things when I swapped to Skull and Bones was the loss of thrill of risk. While the constant NPC spawn in Skull and Bones was activity, there wasn't the same situational awareness and uncertainty of what other, more dangerous players are doing around me. This made the game start to feel boring and lackluster, something I was missing from the time I played Sea of Thieves. I'm just gonna pause at this one, and we can like give our thoughts instead of like going through everything and then going back. So, what's your thoughts on that? The open PvP.
I haven't played, and admittedly, I haven't played either of those games at all. But I've watched some playing. I like the fact that it's going to be open PvP on the seas. It just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I personally won't be able to explore some of those little island areas? Maybe. Depends on what my guild does. Depending on what my friends do in large groups or whatever. But yeah. I know that I personally won't be wanting to build a ship and go out there too far offshore, because I personally don't want to risk all that money on a boat just to have it sunk at sea, and then I lose it. I have to build a new one.
Yeah, I could definitely see that one.
But I'd be really excited to experience it on somebody else's ship, for sure. It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds interesting. Again, I'm going to be dumping my money into the tavern instead of a ship. So there's that. Feel free to take me along your pirate crew.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel kind of the same. Like for me, I'm not super into naval combat. I'm not super into that kind of stuff. I posted on Twitter as like our little going live gif, but the scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where Jack Sparrow comes back with the boat, but like all that's left is the mast coming out of the water with the rest, like the little bit of the sail peeking out. That would be me, barely making it back to shore after somebody's ruined my boat. But honestly, so far it looks like Hidden Dagger Inn and Raka says Sea of Thieves is really good for water physics in a game, as well as sailing mechanics in general. Grim Liberty says this will be one of the few games, certainly MMO, to have actual underwater content. I'm really excited for that, because I did experience some of it in World of Warcraft, and I liked the underwater mounts and stuff like that. But I know I'm gonna have to be brave and venture out into the ocean to experience underwater content. I just don't know how I'm gonna feel with that. Raka says that one Give Thieves video where they go, Captain, look, oh shit, we have so much stuff, comes to mind. I'm not really familiar with that one, so you're gonna have to share it to me so I can be in the loop on that one later. Velvet says the first few trips on the open seas are going to be nerve-wracking. I can definitely see that. Oh, thank you, Raka. Alluring Secret says, I was cooking while you guys were chatting about story quests, but story arcs are tied to nodes and their progression. The lore of Ashes is spread throughout multiple story arcs, unlocked via various things, seasons, node, story progression, etc. So it's safe to say some story will be for sure tied to the progression of nodes and the world as a whole. And that's a good point. Um,
I mean, just because I think that may be in response to what I was saying, with how it's got to be independent of node progress. I was specifically talking about in individual node progress.
I
Like,
was also talking. Oops.
Yeah, just to finish that statement up, like I could absolutely see it being tied to there must be at least 4 tier 6 nodes, and there must be at least X number of tier 5 or 4 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see it being tied to that, but just not like node number 78 must be tier 5 and node number 53 must be tier 6. And then there also must have been this other thing that happened in order for the main story quest that's driving the game to unlock. That's all I was referring to, really.
I think that was more in response to my comment of it being gated by something, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I was gonna add. Anyway, Grim Liberty says Sea of Thieves also now has a PvE mode servers to play on, so if PvP isn't your thing, honestly worth the money if you like pirates and or sailing. I've never tried it, but honestly, if it's gonna be PvE, just okay, let me get my this ties in really well with my point. I played Black Flag, okay? I don't like naval content because of Black Flag. Let me tell you, I tried to attack these people, and lo and behold, they would turn around, they destroy my ship, and I would just be like dead. Like it just I learned really quickly, don't do naval content. So Black Flag was not for me. But I'd be willing to try it out just so I can have a hands-on experience of what naval, just a subjectively from the community, subjectively good naval content could be like, so I can have an experience on that. But I will probably, like Virtek, not go out and do my own ship, but I will definitely go out with other people. And so I think that's gonna still be an important thing of experiencing any of that, so I can have better, I guess, bases. Because right now all I have is Black Flag, and I believe I was told the Skull and Bones is kind of loosely based off of Black Flag's like system.
Okay.
Magisto says Sea of Thieves is such a great game. If you have someone to play with, I def vouch for it. You guys def have to try it. I would love to try it. That might be something I will look into saving up some money for and giving it a go.
Yeah.
Okay, so number two.
Number 2.
Physics and personal investment. When I'm aiming to fight another ship in Sea of Thieves, you target below the waterline to do optimal damage. You try to spread your hits over the entirety of the ship, making it more difficult to fix and faster to sink. This made combat feel important. It rewarded skill and awareness. When it came to repairing damage, you had to use your resources to do so and had to physically go to that location and repair, making Skull and Bones experience incredibly underwhelming when all you had to do is click an item in your inventory and instant heal with the CD to your ship. I would also think using materials such as lumber gathered is a better option than players quote-unquote healing a vehicle. I would also like to see additional things such as bucketing water or putting out fires that would add to the reason for having a crew on a ship. I like that idea. I think... Yeah, go ahead. I'll give my thoughts after.
Oh, okay. So I think that he kind of has a spot on there. It sounds weird to me, and it looked weird to me watching people do that. Just not actually going to a giant hole in the bottom of your boat to repair it there. Just repairing it from like the top of the ship. It feels weird and it feels off. Like you should have to run and patch up the boat, and I think it adds more to the feeling. It's more, I mean, not even necessarily immersive in the game so much as in that experience at least. Like you feel more engaged, if not immersed. And I think the engagement is what really drives a lot of people to really enjoy something. Like it's got to compel you to want to do something and really make you feel like you're serving a purpose by doing it, you know?
Yeah. Before I give mine, Grim Liberty says, my actual hope is each server has mixed nodes, so no two servers will ever be the same. I did the math with nodes count they can spin up at least 217 servers before you hit duplicates, but I also can't see them doing it, sadly. And Raka says they denied that already. But also I'm dying laughing at the best part of Sea of Thieves is you could shoot your buddy out of a cannon and board the other boat.
I love that. I want to try it now. We have to excuse me.
I have to try it. Yeah. Do you think we should try PvP or do you think we should try PvE? Or both? Bless you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You know, I'd be down to try both because I've seen a lot of people playing and we just never really got around to it because reasons and busy and all this and that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, one of these days when we do just a stream with the community or whatnot, we might be able to get like a community Sea of Thieves day or something.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Hidden Dagger continues. Yeah, that'd be fun. Get a couple of people that are like playing it and join us.
Yeah.
Hidden Dagger continues to say, it's hilarious trying to repair and run to the bottom when you're drunk. So there's a drunk feature, and of course, Raka, you can definitely join us. Would love that, honestly. Nope, only PvE in my opinion. I used to play it a lot. PvE is fun, getting treasure maps and killing skellies. Okay, I figure I'd want to try both just to have something to compare them against. You know, like here's Sea of Thieves with PvP, here's Sea of Thieves without PvP. Yay, Hidden Dagger, would love that. Skinny Bruce, welcome in. Says performance issues plague boats with lower decks, i.e. Atlas had repair at the hull of with bucketing as well, didn't work out well. But for me, I think honestly needing to use materials to mend your boat is a great reason and a great driving factor for the economy within Ashes, right? So if you have to require going out and getting more lumber, it's either you're supporting the economy because you're just going to go buy the lumber, or you're supporting yourself or somebody in your guild maybe, or a friend with artisan skills because they have to go out and get that lumber to then repair the boat for you. And I think that drives, again, things to do. With this being able to click to just heal your boat, I feel like you are putting it in a less of a need to interact with the world and more of a, I can just repair this real quick with magic.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah, like you can lose your ship
certain...
at sea, Hidden Dagger.
Yeah, I was gonna read that out. Hidden Dagger says, I'm not certain, but I think Steven said repairing and a destroyed ship will not be instant. On Arcade, it had about a 5-minute cooldown. Don't mind Virtek over there enjoying cherries.
Not gonna lie, it's one of the main reasons I started enjoying old fashions is because they came with a cherry.
Thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out,
Grim.
Lauren.
Thank you.
You both have yourselves a lovely evening, and thank you so much for hanging out.
You want to go on to number 3?
Number 3. Ready, set, go.
Number 3. Swimming and boarding. It has been a huge disappointment to see games that are nautical theme or originating that you are not capable of swimming, which we already know is in Ashes. Which obviously Ashes has already shown this isn't going to be the case. However, something I felt was very rewarding in Sea of Thieves was how you were not only able to board and fight the other players, but you could actively sabotage someone else's ship using explosives, cooking a banana. Somebody's gonna have to explain that one to me. Dropping an anchor, looting storage crates, stowaways. These are the things that I loved about that game. What is up with the banana?
I was hoping that you were just gonna glide past that because I was gonna say, all right, I have one question and one concern.
Oh, no.
WTF does cooking a banana have to do with sailing?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. You could also launch yourself in a cannon. Yeah. That, I think that's what Hidden
That just sounds hella fun too.
That does sound fun. I used to hide on the side of the boat, wait for them to go to an island, lift at the anchor, and drive their boat away. Rip. Oh my gosh. That would be a sad life for sure. But bananas. No, I think I think all of these are great ideas. I'm not into naval games really. I can't really say that definitively. I've tried it. Hello, Quarian, welcome in.
Hello
But
there, friend.
I will say these features do make me interested in trying it out, you know.
Yeah, you know what would be great? Like I don't know. It'd be cool if they had some interesting components, like the battle stations on the ships, like just the whole cooking a banana thing, and just how silly. Like, please, somebody tell me what the cooking a banana does,
Yeah.
because
Or
I really need to know.
I have a feeling they're not going to tell us and make us experience it on our own. Like,
yeah,
no.
like, no, you're just gonna have to play.
You're just gonna have to play.
I don't like you. This is why you're not my friend. But how neat would it be to have like something that you could like ram another ship with, and it would just add additional drag, because it would like staple something to the bottom of their ship or something. And all it does is slow them down so they can't speed away. And you know, maybe put a hole in the side of their ship too while you're at it.
But yeah, I think being a pirate in Ashes, especially some of those in mind, could be really fun, I think. And I know that that's definitely going to be some people's either roleplay fantasy or gameplay type fantasy. So very excited to see that. There's a stove on the boat to cook food. So if you leave food, it will start a fire.
Okay,
that's funny.
Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense, and that is actually kind of hilarious.
I thought that was going to be the same thing with Power World. Your friend Joel, she was playing Power World before we started playing Power World, and her her pals caught on fire, and she was so worried that they were going to set her house on fire.
It's because one of them in her video had like a malicious spirit, I swear to Bob, because he would walk over, stand in the fire, and then immediately run over next to her house and stand there in the corner of the house and just like stare at her while burning, standing next to a wooden house.
Like, I see you. Your house is gonna burn down. Except that's not in the game.
Yeah, in one gaming session, it did that like 4 times. Ran over.
Yeah.
Like caught itself on fire in a campfire, by the way, not like a bonfire or something, a little campfire. Caught itself on fire and ran next to the house and stood there staring at her multiple times. It was possessed.
That's funny. I once dropped a bucket of lava. I know somebody who dropped a bucket of lava on somebody. We know
somebody who did that during a competition.
Yeah. I don't know who that is exactly. But he once dropped a bucket of lava on a friend's wooden house in Minecraft. Still a core memory of this. Your treasure chest have personality as the weeping chest cries and can sink you. Another chest gets angry and you need to douse it with water or else it'll burn your ship. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Wow.
Talk about some mimics.
Seriously.
I think, I don't know. Honestly, I kind of want to try Sea of Thieves now just to see what that's like. It sounds fun and interesting.
I know we've watched Pockets play a couple times, and I think I've watched it a couple more times than you after like raiding over there. It looks fun. And Sea of Thieves, it looks entertaining. It looks like something I could see myself getting into.
Yeah.
We just haven't had time to like explore around and whatnot.
Yeah. But I actually apparently saw a wholesome Sea of Thieves video today. It was on my like YouTube shorts, and I've seen people play it. Like there's been a few people that were like role playing, but this one, I'm guessing it's a PvP thing. This guy or the kid, it sounds like floats up to this guy's boat and so, we come in peace. We're coming in peace. And they're like, how did you get this flag? And they're just curious, you know. You got me inspired reinstalling now. Nice. You can even play instruments. Oh my gosh. But no, I mean, I'm interested. And I wonder what Pockets did for his, like, if it's more role play, because some of them, like, I forgot who it was, but they're doing more of a role play thing in Sea of Thieves.
No, Pockets just seemed like he was having fun with it in general. Just not really like RP, but
gotcha.
Definitely getting into the sea combat.
sounds fun. So, I don't know. That sounds crazy. I feel like those treasure chests are really just mimics. Pindagger says that's all my brother does and play an instrument. Utterly useless, but the music is good. Hey, you have to like inspire your crew, right? Somehow.
Oi. But yeah, I definitely saw a change in full everything about the game, really, between Sea of Thieves and Skull and Bones.
Oh yeah.
Like Skull and Bones, the one cool thing about it that I will say is that as soon as you started sailing, you'd get like 10 seconds onto the water and your people start singing shanties. And like shouting to each other about like, grab this, go over there, do this thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually really cool. So I mean, there are some aspects. I think if they smashed together the best aspects of both games, it'd be a piratey hit.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Sorry, I was looking at what some of our friends are playing currently. Curious. I just noticed that there's not really a whole lot of people on in the Ashes category. So I was thinking maybe we could sit and hang out for like a little bit longer. And then maybe at like 8:30 raid over to someone. If that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good. So
I think go ahead and end the podcast segment here and do a little bit of a post-podcast hangout.
We already put out a question for next week.
I have to work on that, actually. I was just trying to mull over in my mind. Sorry, it's been a busy week or weeks for me and for Virtek as well. But
oh man, I'm pulling a phasal. I was starting to sink down in my chair. I looked up and I'm like all the way down at the bottom.
That's funny. But I'm coming up blank mentally. I need to sit down and plan out some of these questions, to be honest. And that's what I'm gonna do this weekend. But one more day for me, 3-day weekend. Oh, nice. That sounds fun. I like a good 3-day weekend.
Yeah, 3-day weekends are the best.
But I will have.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I will have the question for next week up. Excuse me, by tonight. I just have to think about it. Like, I was trying to think of a good one because the podcast usually would have happened, or the dev stream usually would have happened by now. So I'm like kind of grasping on stuff while we're still waiting for the live stream.
Why would you want to think of a good one? People like terrible questions. Adjust. But Hidden Dagger Inn, that's been, I figured out the longest time trying to figure out what a career goal is, right? Like what my personal career goal is, like where I want to be, what I want to do, like when I consider myself like I've met my career goal. And I figured out that my career goal in life is going to be, if ever I can get to the point where I can have a 3-day weekend every weekend, then I'll be happy. Every weekend.
Know, I actually heard a study at one point where they were talking about like some other countries that have a little bit more of a chill. They worked longer hours but for less days. And they found that those people were about like a good percentage more productive, I guess, on the days that they worked because they had enough time off to truly enjoy their time off.
Yeah,
and then
10 hours a day, 4 days a week. It's one of those things. It's really weird to really put it into words, but I can say, because I've worked a couple jobs that had them. And 10-hour days, 4 days a week feels amazing for the first like 3 months. And then it starts to bug you that you're still working when it feels like you should be done. And you forget about the fact that you have 3 days off.
I think I will always remind myself, hey, you got 3 days off though. It's fine. It's just 2 extra hours. But that being said, I accidentally work a little longer sometimes. Like today, I had to like convince myself to stop working because I was so adamant on solving this problem at work that I was like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. I'm not going to wait till tomorrow because You get that momentum going. You just don't want to stop.
Well, see, yeah, if you were to ask me now, in current position, being salaried, where I work 11 to 16-hour days, not uncommonly, yeah, a 10-hour day isn't so bad. I would take 4 10-hour days and have 3 days, quote unquote, off.
Nice.
And I'd be happy with it.
Hidden Dagger Inn says, I'm semi-retired, so to keep me busy, I drive a school bus, so they always get time off plus summers. Nice.
Less summers.
Raka says, I have to work on Friday and Sunday. Oof. I know that feeling. I picked up a side quest, so I'm usually working on the weekends too. Speaking of Raka asked us earlier, in what biome do you want your tavern to be? And I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. Virtek, what is your ideal biome for the Golden Feather Tavern to be? And I'll say my ideal biome, because I think we have a different of thoughts on that as well.
I personally, honestly, don't really care.
Oh, okay.
I have zero desire, care, or like needs to fit any specific biome. I just want to be in a path of travel for dungeoning so that we can provide food and rest to those who are going raiding or exploring or whatever.
Yeah. Welcome in, Snuckers. Snuckers says volcano.
Volcano.
Hidden Dagger says coastal for the Hidden Dagger Inn. I would like to see us be in a nice, like, forested area. Just because I feel like those could be some of the really nice, like, kind of hidden away secret place. Like, when you think of like a hobbit house, it's in the middle of like a forested area, you know? And it could be like one of those nice like treasures. You just have to take this right path to get here, but once you get there, it's like a hidden gem. Make a swimming tavern between two continents. I don't know if you can do that.
I mean, there are some little islands here and there. Maybe one of them will fall within the domain of a node, and you can plop a little freehold right there.
Surely you won't be abused by pirates.
Absolutely not. Definitely not.
Hidden Dagger Inn says Pirate Haven. Yeah, with your name, absolutely. I don't know if it's Kaibub or Kiwibub, I don't remember, but it says underground, so I can see that. Bioluminescent Golden Feather Tavern. Ooh, I like that.
Just saying, if we had a little island in the middle of, like, between the coast of a couple different things, we could have like the little restaurant from One Piece, the Baratier. Have all the pirates come visit us. It's neutral territory, no fighting.
Yeah, I like it. We're intending to try to make it as neutral as possible and have hired on strong men to come be our like security. Are you ready for sleeper? Oh, are you talking about tomorrow's? You think tomorrow's gonna be a sleeper stream? Okay.
I'm hoping it's gonna be a sleeper stream. I'm hoping.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Well, I guess it depends on if Snickers is using it in the slang term or the deeper slang term. Because sleeper, like if you have a sleeper car, it means it's really boring. You pull up next to it, it's real quiet. It looks like kind of beat up. But then they push the gas pedal and they take off, and they're like 3 blocks ahead of you before you can even get past the green light.
Okay. Like I'm used to seeing that in the context of it's boring, so you can sleep on it and you can pass it up. You can just ignore it.
They use sleeper for a lot of stuff, like just to say like it looks boring, and then you see what it can do and you're like, oh damn, that was a sleeper. Like absolutely, that absolutely went way under the radar until it happened, and then like, holy shit, what just happened? That was amazing.
Hidden Dagger Inn says you're both always welcome at the Hidden Dagger Inn. Free beer on me. I need some content. I'm hoping for something. I can't react to a boring stream. Honestly, I'm gonna say this. I think even with this being quote unquote boring for some people, it is still leagues better than it was in 2019, 2020, when they didn't really give us a whole lot of new information. There was no new information to get whatsoever.
During the drought.
And Yeah, during the great drought of ashes, you know. And so I think any information is better. Yeah, filler streams, exactly. I don't think before Alpha 2 necessarily. I can see what you're trying to get at, but this was legit filler streams back then, like before Alpha 1. So I don't view this as a filler. To me, this is a really important, albeit probably boring for some people, really important system, you know. Yeah, I get what you said, Snuckers. I was saying what I was talking about was a filler stream, but before Alpha 1. That's what I was talking about. So to me, this is not filler stream. This is still information.
Okay, Snucker, so you're saying that you think it is going to be like the way she thought of the sleeper term, like it's going to be a boring one, like you may as well have just been sleeping.
Yeah, it could also mean the next stream will be extreme banger, like the likes of animal husbandry, for example.
Yeah, I mean, it could be an animal husbandry where you're exploring through the woods as a rogue to hunt the animals that you're going to be doing animal husbandry for, and you go back to a religious node to do your whatevering.
Yeah,
and it could just be a mega ultimate like reveal of 17 different things all at once, and we won't know. But
Hidden Dagger says we're getting greedy or excited because it's getting real soon. Could
and that's
just
the thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna follow up with, can just play Sea of Thieves for the next 6 months, eh?
There we go. But yeah, we are getting greedy. Like as a community, we are getting greedy because we are seeing more and more like impactful monthly streams, things that have much more substance to them, as opposed to, not that any of them were absolutely useless streams. Like let's not go to that extreme, but some of the least favored streams out there that we would see sometimes strung between a couple different months, and then there would be a good one and a couple more months of, you know, filler content, so to say. But lately it's been kind of good. Every month it's been kind of good. Been on the good
Honestly,
end, at least.
Snuckers, I think what you said, not just now, but the one before that, the only thing they can do to make it interesting is showing node progression real time. I don't think that's far out of line. I mean, we had that in Alpha 1 where they triggered the node progression. I could totally see that being as like, as you can see, completing this quest will impact the node, and once we impact the node will then level and it'll give these new commissions. I could totally see that being it. To be fair, nobody liked months of only mount streams. Yeah, that's what that was the point though. Yeah, that was the point. Like that's all there was back then though to go off of. Is like, here's another mount and here's this mount, and we're like, okay, cool. So there's not really any new information, but we have like some updates, you know. So for me, comparatively, I would take this live stream well over that live stream. And I love you, Intrepid, but you had your downtime, and that's fair, you know.
Yeah,
every game
does.
does.
Everybody's gonna burn out if they had to produce and create and present like the absolute 10 products all the time, every time.
Yeah.
And go full tilt. That would be exhausting.
I like this. Golwood says, I think closer we get to Alpha 2 start, the less important our out-of-game feedback is. So, downtime 6 months before A2. I don't know. I felt like the Caravan one was really cool. Just seeing the progression of that being able to turn into a ship. We hadn't seen that yet. And the way the looting of the caravans worked, that we hadn't seen that yet either. I think that was really interesting to see. And you know, that was just month 1. We're only in month 2, and quarter 3 is like what? February, March, April, May, June, July, right? And so that's less than 6 months. So you can't say downtime 6 months before when one of them's already good. Too early to call it.
Also, you gotta also look at like downtime. Like, is it really downtime? Because we don't know. We've heard some things that are definitely going to be in Alpha 2 at launch. We've heard some things. We haven't heard a definitive list of absolutely this stuff is exactly and only what is going to be active as soon as Alpha 2 goes live.
Yeah.
We've heard that everything is going to be in the system, or in the game rather. All systems and everything are going to be in the game before Alpha 2 is called to an end. It's all going to be in the game. It's all going to be tested before they move on, and then the only thing is going to be bugs, etc., for betas.
Hidden Dagger says Dylan was saying he thinks it will be July 14th because that was Alpha 1 3 years ago. I liked his logic. I like his logic too. That's why I'm hopeful for July. I think it's going to be July because that makes it early, quarter 3. So they have time, if they need to adjust anything, they have time to push it back while keeping that quarter 3 agreement. So, I mean, July 14th would be poetic justice for that. That'd be perfect, you know, just lining up with 3 years ago. But I think that it's a mix between that and just playing it safe, I think, personally. And it's in the summer holiday, so everybody has time. Possibly, although like I'm just as busy in the summer as you think. Early August?
I think early August, because I think no matter what they aim for, there's always going to be something that they're going to be like, you know, we could probably make that better before we go live with it. We could probably make that, but we could probably do this better. We could probably do that. No matter when they said it, it's going to happen. So if they aim for July 14th, it's probably still going to end up being in August.
That's fair.
But just because they're all going to want to present like the best possible like Alpha 2 progress.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, yeah. Sorry, I thought you're done at progress.
I was thinking of a word, and it escaped me right before I said it, and my brain could not grasp it again.
It's all good. Hello, Hawks. Welcome in.
Hey there, Hawks.
Magista also thinks mid-August. Either way, we'll be playing testing this year. Exactly. I'm very excited for that. But I mean, also like, it's alpha, right? So like, everything is subject for being reworked or whatever. So like, regardless of your feelings of how combat or whatever else is now, everything is going to get reworked by the end of Alpha 2, at least maybe one more time, if not more, you know. Hydrate, thank you.
All right, hydrate it is. I'll grab the actual water bottle.
Gullet says, I'm not setting my heart on Q3. Their track record is just too bad, but it's good to know where they are aiming. And I mean, that's fair. I've heard a few other people have a similar opinion to yours. But I mean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, having learned from those scenarios. So yeah, that's why I can see as early as July, but I'm not banking on it. July.
Hey, Raka, thank you so much.
Hawks.
Or Hawks. Sorry, I saw Raka's name right above there. Thank you again, Raka. But also thank you, Hawks. Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you for that Prime sub.
We are 51 subs away from the PC draw.
I think, like, in my own opinion, I think that it would be in their best interest to drop whatever they have into testing in August. Like, whatever they have. Even if it's not quite, like, they get some things that would be like a PR disaster fixed. And, like, that's what they care about. And then get it out there, because then it would get a chance for wide testing, because I still am putting some eggs in a basket that says that it would be good when they do the annual charity stream to have actual gameplay. They invite people, or even if it's just developers playing it, but they invite people into play during the live stream for charity, because that's going to draw a much bigger crowd for the charity live stream.
Yeah. Well, also, I feel like quarter 3 is broad enough, because they said that they won't give us dates specifically until they get closer. But it's broad enough to have a 3-month spread, right? You've got July, August, and September. So,
I figure between August and the end of October is plenty of time for them to get some of the big things tested and some of the big things fixed.
Yeah, Gowitz says, though, you think they might do extra life in game somehow? Could be. Rocket says, hear me out. The under promise and over deliver will have released Alpha 2 in May.
I mean, that would be a great thing.
I'm hopeful.
You say it'd be awful?
No, I said I'm hopeful.
Oh, okay.
Rude. Taking my words.
I was speaking at the same time, and my brain heard awful, and I was really confused for a moment. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. I think that right there would make some splashes and waves in itself.
You're getting the head shake of shame.
What they meant was Q3 of May. That's bananas. Yeah, Hidden Dagger says they need to get Alpha 1 testers in there though sooner rather than later to find issues that might be more difficult to solve. Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of why I was saying, like, if August hits, if they're trying to do anything with the charity stream, which I would think they should, because that would get a lot of people in there, right? You get a lot of people in there watching an official Ashes event, whatever, inside of the game.
Yeah. But also, I mean, if they're looking for Alpha 2 to be live in quarter 3, there's definitely gotta be some testing before quarter 3. For that, you know, at least. So, but I don't know what else really about on that front. Besides kind of recircling back to the point that I was trying to make a second ago. And thank you so much, Hawks. Being that we're at 99, we're 1 away from 100, and we need 150. Virtek and I did the math for at least $50 to go towards shipping out the PC to whoever wins this PC within the community. That's what 150 subs would be after they take their 50% cut. And we really appreciate you guys, and you guys have helped us get this far, so I wanted to give the PC back to the community. If you are in need of a PC, not going to be top of the line. It's a 1080, but it's a ROG, I believe.
Yep. Asus ROG, it's a 1080. It's super awesome. It's actually a really good card still. Obviously it's not like a 4090 or anything, but it's still really good.
But
go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully we get details here pretty soon, maybe even tomorrow, on what the minimum requirement specs are gonna be.
Ooh, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, indeed. But what were you gonna say? Sorry, that's all I was gonna finish up with mine.
Oh, that I believe we got it up to 64 gig of RAM. We still need to take screenshots of that and post it out too, like all the specs and everything. And it is, I believe, a 9000 series processor. Either way, it was built in the summer of 2018. It's been a couple years, but we went with the almost top of the line on everything.
Yeah.
Like, it was the best i7 that was available. It was the best 1080 that was available without going up to like the crazy overclocked stuff. It was the best 1080 that was available.
Yeah.
The best RAM that was available. I believe it's the Trident RGB stuff. It's got a liquid cool all-in-one cooler for the CPU. To be honest, one of my favorites. It looks really nifty.
I like it. But also, you just said something, and but also we know people in the community that either don't have a PC, they only have a laptop, or they don't even have either of those, and they're borrowing somebody else's rig to kind of access the internet. So at the very least, we wanted to give back to those of you that have been here and supporting us. And it doesn't have to be monetary. It's even being here and chit-chatting with us. Honestly, that's the biggest support that we could use, is the interaction and getting to know you guys and hearing your thoughts and stuff, because that's the whole point of this podcast, is community thoughts and community topics.
Exactly. Just hanging out, having conversation with us. That's the best.
Yep. And Hidden Dagger says A2 is gonna be a marketing tool, and 100% needs to be ready for sure to the public. And the problem is, I don't know, like 100% necessarily, because of there's certain things, like maybe Summoner will be available at the beginning of Alpha 2, maybe it'll be later in Alpha 2. but I do think that they want it to be polished to a certain point where they can feel comfortable sharing it. So I would agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, that's going to be the fun part, is figuring out exactly what they really want to be ready for the public, and then either hiding or disabling the stuff at the very beginning if need be, or whatever. I just think that whatever product they're going to put out should definitely be out there by, you know, late August, so that they have enough time to test if they're trying to do the charity stream thing.
Yeah.
But if they're not, then it doesn't really matter. They could totally wait until the end of September for all that matters at that point.
Yeah. They could use Summoner for August charity? Maybe. August charity? I don't know if they're going to... It's not till November that they do charity.
Yeah, they usually do the extra live, or the extra life in the first weekend of November, the first Saturday usually.
Yeah. Usually ends up being my birthday weekend.
Yeah, so we've taken up doing, you know, the closest thing to Halloween before that one.
Mm-hmm.
That way we're not stomping all over their time. I
will say, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And yes, daylight savings weekend for the fall. Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's whenever that Saturday lands. Usually like the first weekend in November.
Yeah. But, I think we are going to go ahead and raid over to Demon Soul Games, who is a guild mate of ours. And we really need your help, okay? We're trying to convince him to play Ashes, and he seems like he might be on the line. So maybe if we raid over to him, we can convince him to join Ashes of Creation with the rest of us. But just as a heads up, he is marking his stream as 18 plus. But he's playing Baldur's Gate, so just be aware of that for our viewers.
Yes, it might have the typical Baldur's Gate things in there that occur.
Yeah.
Because it's Baldur's Gate, but it's Twitch acceptable, so you know, there's that. It's not gonna be terrible.
Hidden Dagger Inn asks, can we get a Chibi and Virtek sumo wrestling match on stream? You know what? We could probably make that a Halloween thing. And put it in there somewhere for one of the goals.
We reach 500 subs.
Yeah.
By the time the charity stream comes around, it'll be all about doing the sumo thing. I will set up the living room in a way where we can do the sumo wrestling match there. We're outside. You can put a camera in the window.
Oh my gosh. Just put it like in my window, just like facing the backyard. Meanwhile, our neighbors just see us in like these blow up sumo wrestling suits just like attacking each other.
Oh lordy. But anyhow, before this thing raids us over, did you have anything that you wanted to say on our way out besides sumo wrestling?
Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm so glad to have you guys here.
All right, again, thank you everybody for showing up and hanging out. It means the world to us, just contributing to the conversation and just existing in this space with us and chatting. It's fantastic, it's amazing, and we'll love you for it. You have yourselves a great day and a great, what's tomorrow, Thursday? And then there's Friday after that. And then, so the next 2 days and a couple hours until the weekend hits. Enjoy yourselves. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.